Alright guys, sorry about that. But I went ahead and connected the cable, shut the canopy off. So that way you guys can get a better picture. My lights are currently set to radiant color, which is designed to display the corals, the fish, and the inverts in the most vibrant colors, as you can see. It's just amazing. This particular one emphasizes the fluorescence in my aquarium, including the greens, the reds, the oranges, and it shows. It utilizes the UVs and the blues to create this effect, which I think is like a special blend. You know what I mean? And I'm very happy. It goes it ramps up starting from the blues, works its way up, turns into white, then goes all the way back down. It does it over a 12-hour period, and I think in my case, I got it set to 12 hours. Because since I'm not utilizing all the lights at its peak performance anyways, it starts at 0, works all the way up to 50, and then it works its way back down. So it's not really a big ordeal for me in that part. They do have other color settings, which include high growth, which gives you a longer intense lighting for a good portion of the day. They have the traditional reef. They have even freshwater planted aquarium coloration, which is like a 5 to 7K color. They got a shallow reef, and they have deep water reef, which is like my company, Deep Reef Water. And those are just some of the settings that they actually have for the lights themselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log into my lights. I have the cable connected now, so I'll go ahead and log in now so you guys can get a preview of everything that these lights can do. I'm utilizing the live with like I said, a 50-foot cable. The reason I have the 50-foot cable is due to the fact that my 30-gallon, the one for my son, is all the way in the front of the house, and I wanted to utilize my desktop to be able to program the lights. Most of my laptops are, in fact, Apple computers, which there's not really they don't really have you're not really able to utilize Apple computers to set the lights up and program them. Hopefully that'll be a feature that comes down the line, because most of the items that I do use, like the iPhone, the iPad, the iMac, so I would really enjoy if they had it set up to that point. Now I'll go ahead and I'm actually logging in, and I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. As you can see right here, you can see the peak. My lights don't cut on until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they don't go off until 2 in the morning. You can actually look at it the way it is, or you can go into the individual color spectrums, and it shows you where all the lights peak at, so you can get an idea of how everything looks. Now we're gonna go into live mode. All right, there we go, and all the lights will actually come on, and then you can control the individual lighting themselves. This is everything at 100%. My tank has never been this bright. It's not going to be this bright ever. I'm gonna go ahead and cut down everything but the UVs, so I can go through the different colors so you can see them. That is UV and red together. That is a freaky combination, man, if I have to say so myself. All right, this is the UVs on its own. Now, you guys aren't getting the full purple effect that the UV does, but you can actually see the way that the lights are glowing. You can actually see how the lights are glowing in the tank. But you can see the corals that are popping out. Like I said, it's bringing out the fluorescence and the colors. One thing I would like Radion to do is allow me to program different lights at different times. So, like for example, in my 90-gallon, I used to have these lights on before all my other lights come on, I used to have this light on for at least an hour just to bring out the fluorescence in my corals, and it made a tremendous difference to me. So that would be something I would love to see them come out with. As far as the blues, let me go ahead and cut the UVs off, but these are the blues on their own. They do the same job. I mean, it's ridiculous, but except obviously now the camera picks it up and you can see it a lot better. But with a mixture of the UVs, let's say we'll put the UVs at 50%. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll go ahead and bounce it up to 100, and then we'll go ahead and turn down the blues a little bit. I'm gonna turn the blues down to 40%, hopefully, and now you guys can see the difference in coloration. This is at 25, but you can see how everything is nice and showy and poppy, if I can use that word. These are the royal blue, I mean these are the regular blues on their own, which gives you like this almost green color, but it still makes everything fluorescent. It makes a lot of your polyps and your oranges pop out tremendously. These are cool whites. I don't know why they call them cool, because they look pissy to me, but these are the greens. We have the hyper red, you know, and then we have the and that's those lights in themselves. Let me go back. All right, we'll go ahead and turn everything back up. All right, that's everything at 100%. They also have the day, and that this is the night mode. My tank tends to lean more towards the night mode, even during the daytime, being the fact that the strength of these lights are ridiculous. I don't know if you guys saw Mr. Saltwater Tank TV's video on these lights, but he did the PAR reading utilizing a scientific grade PAR meter, and I mean the numbers were outrageous. And I think that was like one of the factors in me actually getting these lights. I mean, we'll go through the different spectrums in a bit, but actually what I'll do is go into demo mode, so you guys can get a preview of the different colors, except not in that super techno mode that we had earlier. This actually goes through lights slowly but surely, so you guys can see the difference in coloration. Now, as far as these lights go, the Radion Pros, I'd have to say that at max wattage they use about 170 watts to the fixture, and then the max wattage to the LED channels are about 155 watts. It's 42 LEDs on each light fixture, so you can do the math to figure out how many LEDs are over my system. I mean, we're talking about we're talking about well easily into about 126 LEDs. So you can just imagine if I would have put 4 or 5 or 6 of these units on my tank, like Mr. Saltwater has. I think he has 6 over his tank. The features that I like about the Radion Pros is that the cooling fans are now water resistant, not waterproof, but water resistant. That doesn't mean go dump your lights into your tank. That you cannot do. But as far as if you have a canopy or something like that and you're afraid of the evaporation and it going into your tank, I mean into your lights and damaging them, well, you don't have to worry about that too much more. You can create your own light modes. For the most part, I haven't really gotten into that feature yet. I mean, although they have a video to show you some information on it, I think I need to go a little bit more in depth to understand exactly how I can put the points and everything. Or I would like to be able to use the radiant color as a template and then program it to the way I would like, because I truly do like the way the radiant color acclimates during the day. I mean, it goes up and down like at a nice even pace. One thing I like is that these LED clusters are fully upgradable. If they come out with a new cluster, you're supposed to be able to upgrade. I'm waiting to see how that's going to work. These work with EcoSmart Live, which I think is very nice for the most part. I had a little bit of trouble with the Gen 2 that's on my son's tank, but I hope that was just like a minor bug or a kink that I had to work out. But with the Pros, I had no issues at all setting them up. So I was very, very proud of that. I have to say, after taking off the 14 T5s, my tank has dropped down to 79.5 degrees. My tank was actually up at 81.5. Even with the acros, I really didn't have an issue because it said 81.5, but it's measuring it from the sump. That's why the two doors in the center are off. It's not measuring it from within my tank. So my tank, I'd say, is about a degree or two cooler than my sump, but now it reads 79.5, so that means my tank might be at 77. I have to bring in another temperature meter to check that out. The next thing I want to do is get a waveline pump on my system to try to bring down the temperature some more. I like the fact that the Pros come with the TRR lenses, which directs more light output into my tank. I mean, it boosts the par levels by about, I'd say 23 to 45%, depending on the light that you're talking about. The reason I can say that is that because you have some lights that are 2.5 and you have others that are 5 watts. So the par isn't the same on those two individual light or those LEDs. As I talked about the hanging of the lights, which I thought was pretty cool. Some features. I'd say the way they have the light cluster set up, I thought that was pretty nice. They're not all bunched together, like every color is bunched in the same place. They're kind of like in a mixed pattern across the board, so that way you get all the arrays of every color with no problem. What else can I say? The things some of the things, like I said, I really would like to see is the truly wireless upgrade of these lights, to where you don't have to connect the cable to the lights. Like right now, I'll turn on my house lights real quick. If you look on the floor, you'll see that cable right there, and it runs all the way up the side of the tank, and it goes all the way into the back of the tank where it's connected to the actual given Radion cable. I mean, I bought this extension cable off of eBay, so it wasn't that bad. But if you go and walk into a store, you're talking about some maybe 20-30 bucks for the cable. You know, for a light that you paid 900 bucks for, you'd like to see a little bit more out of them. I mean, AIs, they came out with a wireless toy, you could say, or a wireless technique. I'm pretty sure Ecotech, with all their vast technology, you know, all those guys hard working over there, pretty sure they could come out with something as nice, where you can control it on your laptop, or you can control it on your phone. I mean, I would like maybe possibly an app if possible. Some other things I would like to see is maybe a better, like I said, an app or a way to connect to the Apple products, because a lot of people are big in Apple. You know, I've watched some people have to dust out their old computers just to program the lights. I'm one of those guys, you know. I had to go find the old handy dandy desktop to be able to program it. Right now, the coloration change that you guys see going on right now is courtesy of my Mac computer, but I can't program it. I can only play with it utilizing this feature. So that's another thing. I have to say that they did a tremendously well job of putting these lights together, and I'm very proud to be a owner of these lights. I would highly recommend them to anybody as it stands now, even with my minor complaints. So I would hope that you guys check these lights out to see how they're doing. I'll run into a different scenario with you. right now what you're looking at is the presets. They have presets for these lights also. That's the 5K. This is the 7K right here. This would be the 10K right here. I really don't have a shadow effect. I know in the camera it looks like I do, but there's really no shadows in my tank. The shadow casting that you see in the video is due to the outlets from my for my surface agitation. I utilize these little spigots with a cap at the end, so they can move all of the water, so my shimmer effect looks a whole lot different. This is going to be the 12K setting right here. Hopefully you guys can see the difference. The 14K setting. We have the 18K setting. Now, between the I'm still debating between the 18K and the 20K. I am a big fan of 20K lights. Remember you have the metal halides, the Radion bulbs. I mean, those are amazing, and I mean, I've been chasing that for a long time, trying to find that color. I mean, so they have a preset, and it's like almost spot on, but I think there's no recreating metal halides, because you don't get the same effect. Obviously, you know, the shimmer you don't get in metal halides, but the coloration is like unique in itself. This is going to be the deep blue, and you can see all my fish just ran and hide, like what the hell happened. These are the all blue, and this is the regular blue. You have the whites and royals, gives you this nice little color here, and then you have the whites on their own. Then you have whites and reds. Then you have red by itself. So that's going to be all the lighting colors when it comes to the Radion. So I hope you guys truly look into these lights. As far as the power readings, you can go to Mr. Saltwater Tank to look at his review on these lights and their power reading. I'm not going to do that. I don't have the meter. But as far as the coloration itself and what these lights can do, I think that they're capable of much more. We just haven't seen it yet. Oh, one other issue I have, or I don't like, is that you can't set how low your lights go for the thunderstorm mode. Like, I would like for this portion, when you go here, that you can set the background lights, that shadowing that you see going on right now, a little bit darker, because it doesn't give you the full effect. I live in Miami. We see thunderstorms all the time. Trust me, it can be noon and it looks pitch black like it's midnight. And when the thunder goes off, I mean, there's just that feeling like, holy crap, like what the hell is happening? So I was able to program the AIs to do that on Eddie's tank. So I would like to be able to program that same feature on my tank. So if there's a way of doing that, or if you guys know about it, please let me know, because that's the only reason I don't utilize the thunder mode with the Radions, because it doesn't meet my standards as of yet. I'm pretty sure they will come out with a feature that makes it do what I want it to do. That whole thing about 100% control, you know, that's why I love using the Neptune Apex. I mean, I am a control freak. I am a true control freak. If you guys know that this tank has never been ran without an Apex system. So I mean, I love the programmability of that, and we'll have to do a video on that coming soon. But as you guys can see, I am in love with the Radions, and I have to say that I do enjoy everything about them. And you know, hopefully we can get back to having nice, beautiful systems with these lights, and without the whole heat issue utilizing metal halides or T5s. LED lighting is updating every day, and I hope to see more updates coming soon, especially with Radion. So big shout outs to the guys at Ecotech Marine for making these lights and I hope to see more out of your company. I mean, you guys have done a heck of a job overall in everything that you've done so far. So just keep up the good work. I saw you guys at MACNA. I was able to speak to you and play with the system for the most part. I met Eric and a couple other guys who work for Ecotech, and I do talk to them on a regular basis. But like I said, if you guys can just step it up just a tid bit more, you know, I'd be sold for the rest of my life. It'd be like my iPhone. I'd never go back. Like I said, keep up the good work. Big shout outs to Eric Burnin at Ecotech Marine, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.